My name is Bibinka Mama. I'm from California, Stockton, California. I love repping Stockton because no one really knows what it is, but it's near Central Valley, Bay Area. I am a drag queen, bake shop, and I perform all over Brooklyn. And since I go by the name Bibinka, no one really knows what a bibinka is. It's a Filipino rice cake. It's like this ooey gooey, coconutty, butter mochi rice cake. And because most Americans didn't know what it was, I decided to start baking and selling them, and well, actually baking and feeding them. So I would feed people for my shows, and that turned into me doing pop-up events. And the community, the queer community, just loved it, embraced me so much that I just continued to do it, and it kind of grew into me just becoming just in the community as a drag queen bake shop, which is amazing. And to get the support from the community just means so much, because I wouldn't really be here if it wasn't for them. Well, aesthetically, my dad, he's like this older, I don't know, I would say not baby boomer. He's like born in the 1930s, and I felt like his aesthetic was more 1950s, and just his fashion and kind of, I guess, essence I am inspired by. And I just like love like doing this like retro, like kind of neon, futuristic look. To me, Bibinka is like a character. She's a cartoon character, kind of like a little alien. And I think another inspiration for me is just my community and like the Filipino community in general. So because I've taken on such a cultural name, I felt like I really need to embrace the cultural aspect of myself. And that inspired me to even learn more about my heritage and what it means to be Filipino, and just Filipino culture in general. Growing up in America, like I realized that my family wanted to assimilate, and being was so like Western and having to learn and assimilate to the American culture, I lost a little bit of my Filipino culture. So doing drag and this art just inspired me to be more in touch with like my heritage and who I am. I'm actually a fashion designer. Being in the fashion industry is just kind of like heart wrenching, because you see all the waste that's like in the industry. And growing up in California, it was kind of instilled in me to be very environmentally conscious, and remember to recycle. In my hometown, we had Sally Save Water, who reminded us to just save the water. Like don't overuse it, because there's going to be a day where you're not going to have water. You're not going to have fresh water. So just even my culture. So Filipinos are also very like culturally conscious, sustainably conscious. And my mom is a great example of that. Like she reuses all of her old buckets and water jugs and turns them into like plant like pots. And just I feel like where I grew up, I'm very fortunate because I learned very early on to be environmentally conscious. And with that, going into the fashion industry, you realize all this waste, and it's like we have to do something, change something, maybe speak a little bit more about like what we can do like as individuals to be more sustainable, as in terms of like maybe you don't always buy new fashion, fast fashion. Remember to buy, like you have the option of buying like vintage and thrifting, and there are pieces where you find where it's just like amazing pieces that you can't find anywhere else. But since we're so stuck on new and what's new in fashion and all that, like people just continue with this mass production, and it's just like something I feel like hopefully one day I can turn it around and kind of make a difference on that impact. One of the things I would say is a huge hurdle was feeling constantly inspired by the place that I'm working at. And I feel like, again, going back to the fashion industry, I kind of am gearing towards out of it, just because the mentality of the industry is just so heart-wrenching that, it was hard for me to stay inspired and wanting to be in it, because the things around me were just like not reflecting of like what I want in terms of like sustainably and being environmentally conscious. Is just, it was, that part was just such a hurdle for me. Before you throw that thing out, maybe think about what you can reuse it and to turn it into, upcycle it into. I do it all the time. Like, I have like 10 cans that I just, oh, look at this little, Altoids tin. I'm just gonna, start putting my bobby pins in there, and I think I do that with my little, even as my little travel lotions and like creams. I'll put little things in there to, I don't know, as a storage or little pill box. Just the littlest things. Just, I guess, just think about things before you throw them away, because you can upcycle them.
What makes you so mad?
A lot of things. Dumb people, rude people. Maybe it's just actions more than anything. I think uh, there are better ways of handling situations, and I think most of us kind of turn really quick to getting mad and reacting in such a harsh way. And I think that makes me mad. I get very righteous. So when I feel like someone is doing wrong to like my friends or my family, I get very like, well, I'm gonna go and fix it. I'm gonna go do something about it. I wouldn't say get angry. I get very like justified. Like, I will, I have your back, girl. This person will not get away with anything.